Hello everybody and welcome back to our 4th Age Variag Hordes campaign, and we have done it. I just took the last settlement belonging to Rhun, Raycost, in a fairly uneventful assault. We're going to go ahead and sack it. And we just also got a notification, people on the move. Chiefdom of Rhun. Now this does not tell us exactly where they have gone off to, and I don't see their king anymore in the forest here. But I did see an army over here. Okay. Oh, here we are. So this is our first daughter horde, you might say. We have, again, a couple of factions that are capable of hoarding in addition to us, and Rhun is the big one. And so it looks like they've got a fairly substantial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full stacks and a couple of leftover things, and they got a bunch of family members here. So their ruler was the only one left outside, and with the fall of Raycost, they spawned all these other stacks. Can't see exactly what they have here, but what I'm curious to do is see if they are interested in peace. I could ask for money, but honestly, I'm a little worried that they'll just deny it. But yeah, let's see if they have any money. 3,000. We don't share a border, so okay. Next turn, we'll try this again. We do have to be careful because the movement allowance for some of these guys is going to be fairly generous. But we are heading north. All right, it is time to bring our emissaries over into the east so we can better determine our future path. Now, I am seeing here that Dale is expanded into the east. Dorwinion is nosing around this settlement, which is suggesting that they may be interested in going to war, but there's a fairly large Dale stack right here. Dale is a faction I'm interested in going to war with, but first, potentially, I'd like to see if I can get North Rhun to horde as well. They only have 2, maybe 3 settlements by my count. Looks like Dorwinion took back Rhun, so that's very good news. But we're going to see if we can move our stacks into the north. Now, can any of these guys reach me? Not really, so we'll go ahead and trespass on Dorwinion's territory. That is going to give us a transgression message, which doesn't mean a whole lot. I imagine everyone's going to hate us anyway.
Yes. Move out. No more moves. Yes. Move.
And we want to try to keep our forces together, certainly while we are near Rhun. So I'm very curious to see what this army is going to do. Okay, I think that's everything we can do for this turn. Where did they go? Yeah, this is why I'm going to want my other emissary in the region. So let's start to bring him over here. All right. Are they heading over here? You know, if they're not heading north, then I'm honestly not too worried about them. They can go south, they can do whatever they want. Eventually, we'll try again for peace.
Out of moves. Orders. Forward. Forward.
So our path might be clear.
Captain. Forward. No more moves. Orders. March.
Alright, North Rhun did just take this settlement.
Captain. Forward. Captain.
So that is likely to be our next target.
Orders. March. Yes. March.
But I do have to get my armies together because we do have some weaker and some stronger forces. This, Akil of East Khand, is my weakest horde by far. So I want to do the fighting with a horde like this that's a bit more balanced. Or this that has a much more capable cavalry arm. Alright, I do want to find Rhun though, just to kind of see what they're up to. Okay, they're heading down into the southwest. So it could be that they're going to head back to try to take their fallen settlements. I don't know exactly which provinces the various factions are going to prioritize, but there is a priority that you can manage to a certain degree. From my meager understanding on the topic, I think it's somewhat related to the fertility of the province or the income potential. Not sure. The other thing, of course, would be the victory conditions that AI factions do tend to prioritize. And in every faction's case, their victory conditions are going to involve their homelands. So it could be that these hordes just try to take back their own rebel homelands that I've sacked. That would not be ideal. I'd rather see them go and take out other enemy factions. So we're rationing here, and we haven't gone down any farther. So that's very good. Now, we just sacked Raycoast with this army. So let's see, do we want to declare war now? Let's move around a little bit. Let's see what we can find, because I want to get a sense of the lay of the land. I know there's a settlement up here that is North Rhune's capital. So they've got that. They've got this settlement down here, Garth. And let's check their diplomacy. They're at war with a lot of factions. So, let's see. That means they could flip this province, which Dorwinion currently has. But Dorwinion has a very large stack in here. Now, if they move that out, it could rebel again, or North Rhun could come down and make it relatively easy pickings. But there is another rebel settlement far to the north, which would also be a fairly easy grab. So I think I may want to move my armies up here to see if North Rhun has expanded in that direction. Do I want to take this? We have the noble, we've got another noble here. Well, let's put it under siege. We'll go ahead. We don't need any gear because this is just an unwalled settlement. That may call out some of their armies in the field, which would be nice if we could get a family member to sort of reveal itself, and outside of a settlement, that would be even better. Then we could assault, then we could take their other remaining settlements, hopefully. So let's see what this provokes them to do. Okay, so this is telling me that Rhun has moved over to the west. A nice trick you can do once your emissary or any agent runs out of movement points. You can still send them to interact with another army or a settlement, and if that army moves, it will sort of remember that, and so you can sort of use that to track things like enemy assassins, spies, things that you normally can't see, or in this case, hordes, and I'm wondering where these guys are going. They might be heading towards Dorwinion. I know that Belligant tends to be a target for hordes, particularly North Rhun. I've seen them head in that direction. Dale is another option, the settlement of Dale, which would be great. But I know that for AI hordes, they do tend to move fairly slowly. We've seen them, they started over here, then they moved down here, and then they moved up. So they don't necessarily move very efficiently or very decisively toward a target. Alright, and again, we're just spreading these guys around. There's a settlement up here somewhere. Yes. So this is the province of North Rhun, and I think this settlement is directly north of where I am. But first, let's uncover this one. This is Horde, their capital, and they've got it stacked with a bunch of soldiers, and they've got this too. These are going to be very hard targets. They seem to be, North Rhun seems to be in a fairly defensive mode at the moment. Dale has returned some of its forces into that city.
Yes.
Alright, this is my
Forward.
cavalry stack. See how we're doing for supplies. We're starving. It's been a long time since they've done any sacking, so this is a big blow to troop morale, movement points, command stats when attacking, defending, loss of hit points, loss of experience to the bodyguard. You can see this in terms of the two silver chevrons instead of 3, I believe. And then lower security versus assassination attempts. So, you know, if we eliminate or force North Rhun into a horde, I wonder if we might want to settle. You know, settle, spend a few turns, maybe train some emissaries, because these guys are going to, you know, get old and die, and then we'll be, you know, out of that limited scouting ability. Something to think about. So I still don't know if I want to put this under siege, though, just yet. This is, again, my cavalry army. So I think I'll just leave them in the area. All right, but let's have him head up north. All right, here's a very small stack. Again, the settlement's somewhere over here. I'd love to see a family member out wandering around. Yes, there it is. Okay, and this is another small stack? Not really sure. Okay, so we could take this instantly. Bjornings and Rohan have allied, and that means nothing for us. Okay. And these cities are still really full of units. So that's going to be difficult. Oh, and I forgot to send them after this army. Okay, so, see, Rhun is not at war with North Rhun. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we want to assault Thordram and sack it and get out of there. Because we don't want to just be hanging around when these massive hordes... Look, they've got multiple wains. Great. Very cool to see. I mean, they're not the most intimidating unit, depending on the terrain, but it's good to see lots of these high-tier things floating around in a horde. So, obviously, if we are to settle here, we are going to potentially be targeted by the chiefdom of Rhun. Now, maybe they're just on their way through. Maybe they're just heading over to Fornhud. This is one of Rhun's victory conditions, I'm now remembering. And that'd be great if North Rhun is forced into a horde by these guys. I would be all set with that. I wouldn't have to do anything.
Captain.
But I am going to have to start moving my men
Out of moves. Captain.
elsewhere. So,
No more moves. Chief. Forward. Out of moves. Captain.
let's see. What's here?
Siege in settlement.
Alright, this is just a noble. Let's do it. We haven't had any conflict with Akil of East Khan. He is a poor governor and inept commander. Man of the steppes, so he's theoretically good with cavalry. But he's got tightened belts, and he's not the best, and he's certainly not got the best army. But that's fine, because in this case, we're just fighting a single unit of Chieftain's Guard. Now, given that this is going to be a fairly straightforward fight, I think I will skip this. But when we return, maybe I'll resolve both of these assaults, because they're not going to be anything particularly interesting. Of course, if that changes, I will be sure to record. But otherwise, I think we will proceed in the following episode with these two settlements sacked, and we'll see what Rhun looks like it's going to do as a result. So I hope you'll join me for that next time, folks. Thank you once again for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.